I welcome you all to this online workshop titled Artificial Intelligence, an Innovative Paradigm for Smart Computing. And this workshop is being organized to disseminate knowledge on artificial intelligence, which is one of the cutting-edge technologies which draws the attention of academicians, researchers, industrialists, and invariably everyone towards this domain. So what is so special about this artificial intelligence? And this artificial intelligence is serving as one of the important vehicles for problem solving. And this artificial intelligence radically differs from the traditional computing strategies, and the reasons I will explain little later. So this session will speak about, I will try to cover the elements of artificial intelligence and how this artificial intelligence came into existence, and what are the specialities of artificial intelligence, and why should we use artificial intelligence, and then what are its applications. Well, next slide, please. So this is about the layout for the 5 days online workshop. So the first session is on artificial intelligence and overview, as I made a mention. Then the second session will be on machine learning algorithms. Again, on the third day, we will be covering algorithms, because we have a wide array of algorithms. We try to break them into two parts as part 1 and part 2. So the fourth session will be on neural networks and deep learning. So any kind of discussion on artificial intelligence would be ideally incomplete if we don't touch upon the neural networks. So the concept of neural network has grown out as deep learning. Let us later on discuss what is deep learning, why it is called deep learning. And the last session, we will cover the concept of convolutional neural networks. So now let us get into the topic of this session, artificial intelligence and overview. Next. So here, the agenda of the session goes like this. So we will be discussing about the genesis of artificial intelligence, then the power of artificial intelligence in problem solving, then AI and the kind of why it is being used for problem solving, then AI and the breakthroughs in artificial intelligence as witnessed by the entire world. Then I will highlight the applications of artificial intelligence, then the questions and answer session. Next. So I think it would be ideally suitable to begin with the genesis of artificial intelligence. So the initial hops, how this concept of artificial intelligence came into existence. So to be very precise, the idea of artificial intelligence was triggered by one of the renowned scientists of computer science, mathematician too, by name Alan Turing, in the year 1950. He just came out with a concept of developing Turing machine, and that is being called as abstract machine. So after the invention of this Turing machine, he came out with a research article titled like Computing Machines and Intelligence. So there he put forward one of the pertinent questions: can machines think? Can we make machines think like a human being? Will we be able to inject the cognitive functions of human being into a machine? So this question in turn gave rise to organizing a workshop titled Summer Research Project on Artificial Intelligence at Dartmouth College by yet another world-famed computer scientist, John McCarthy, in the year 1956. So then he decided to organize a brainstorming session inviting scientists from different diversified disciplines so that he just wanted to explore the possibility of conceiving the idea of developing artificial intelligence driven machines or artificial intelligence driven software. So he organized for this kind of workshop. So though it was arranged in a very grand manner, and the workshop did not the attempt was not that successful. The reasons are, and few of the scientists could not turn up, and they were not able to participate the entire workshop. So though it was a kind of very to say historical event to occur in the history of artificial intelligence, and a few of the scientists who participated are shown in the next slide. Next, please. Okay, you can see the array of the galaxy of scientists who participated in the Dartmouth conference. We call these scientists as the founding fathers of artificial intelligence. Though John McCarthy is being called as father of artificial intelligence, and these scientists are being called as founding fathers of artificial intelligence because they were being pulled from different disciplines, and they were able to contribute from say psychology, from physiology, from operations research, from logic, and many such fields. So these are the set of scientists who participated in the ever first conference on artificial intelligence. And interestingly, when John McCarthy prepared a proposal seeking sponsorship for the conduct of this workshop, he coined the terminology artificial intelligence. So that artificial intelligence came into existence only in his proposal that he submitted for sponsorship. Next, please. So let us proceed with the definitions of artificial intelligence. I have pulled out few definitions about artificial intelligence with an intention that will make us understand what exactly do we mean by artificial intelligence, and what are we supposed to perceive when we hear the terminology artificial intelligence. So I have next. I have given a collection of definitions. So here, as I told you earlier, John McCarthy is the scientist who coined the word artificial intelligence in the year 1956, and he defines AI as science and engineering of making excuse me, making intelligent machines. So then, as we look into this Merriam-Webster, and that says it is a branch of computer science that deals with simulation of intelligent behavior on the computers. So this is an attempt to simulate the cognitive and functional activities of a human being in a machine. So then, as we look into this English Oxford Living Dictionary, it says this is a theory and development of computers, computer systems, which will use to perform the task as a human being can do by reflecting the human intelligence, such that the computer or a device or a machine that is injected with artificial intelligence will be able to do an array of activities as a human being can do, such as visual perception or speech recognition or decision making by using the logic and reasoning, as well as translation between languages. So these are just a collection of instances that make us understand what kind of capabilities can be injected into a machine in the light of artificial intelligence, like this visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation from one language to another language, or translating one text into two different languages, and the like. Next, please. Next slide, please. So let us continue with a few more definitions of artificial intelligence. So this is the theory and development of computer system, which will be able to perform the task. As I made a mention, I have listed them again in terms of visual perception, then speech recognition, decision making, as well as a translation between the languages. So then again, artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that can be programmed to think like human being and which can mimic the activities of the human being. So ultimately, like we have to understand, we are going to develop computational solutions using artificial intelligence, which will make a machine to learn out of the process of data handling or data processing or computation. So it tries to acquire some amount of experience of understanding the problem and solving the problem. Then it will be able to provide solution as we do during the process of problem solving. So any kind of problem solving using artificial intelligence involves training, learning, and then problem solving. So yet another modern definition of artificial intelligence states that it is the study and design of intelligent agents, where an intelligent agent is a system that can perceive the kind of environment or the kind of understanding of a problem and then getting a grasp of the problem as that of a human being. So and as we the human being try to apply a concept or apply a principle or try to solve a problem, and the ultimate aim is to get the best success out of the entire exercise. So the objective of any kind of AI based problem solving should also lead to the best possible success by mimicking the activities or the cognitive functionalities of human being. Next. This is actually the definition that is given by a Business Insider. So this states that like we are able to apply the concept of artificial intelligence through which a machine will be able to understand the content as well as context of the data, and it tries to parse the data. Then it comes out with a lot of experience through the process of training, which may be used for promoting a business or promoting the industrial activities or promoting any kind of problem that we are talking about. So the one which is given by Business Insider. Next. Next slide, please. So this is about the trend of artificial intelligence. And so though we understand the term artificial intelligence was coined in the year 1956, and there were a lot of hiccups, and it was the history says artificial intelligence did not had a head start from the year 1956. So there were a lot of developments taking place during the course of time. So between 1980 and 1990, and there were a lot of things which happened in the name of artificial intelligence. So the scientists came out with a concept called expert system. I'll let you know what is meant by an expert system. So this expert system was used for a lot of industrial and scientific applications. So the scientists were involved in developing expert system between the year 1980 and 1990. An expert system is the one which will be able to solve a problem based upon a set of rules that we write as a part of the expert system. For instance, suppose if we want to find, to be contextual, if a person is down with corona or not. So we have a set of symptoms, a set of kind of sufferings a person may undergo. So if we have an expert system which will ask a sequence of questions, right? Do we have congestion? Do you have cough? And do you have temperature? So when these kind of questions are being asked, the respondent will be able to give the responses accordingly. So after these responses, an expert system will be able to come to a conclusion whether a person is down with corona or not. So this is what we mean by an expert system. So expert system is synonym to artificial intelligence. So it is a kind of software which will be able to use the concept of artificial intelligence for predictions, for decision making, for extrapolation, as we talk about the prediction, as well as for generating new set of data. So though as we talk about the expert system, it was a kind of, the design was quite primitive, And the concept of artificial intelligence was not able to take the fullest form in those period of time. And during this course of time, between 1980 and 1990, this neural network was also getting familiar, and the scientists started using this neural network for problem solving parallelly. So this also augmented the potential of artificial intelligence. Then probably after 1990, there was not much progress witnessed by the world, and we can say after 1990, it was a kind of hibernation period for artificial intelligence. Then after some time, since 10 years, we all talk about the artificial intelligence. So the artificial intelligence has come back. So we can say that this period is the comeback of artificial intelligence, and we have to admit that it has come out with a very big bang. So now let's see how it proceeds. Next, please. So this is about evolution of artificial intelligence. I just made a mention how the development of artificial intelligence took place from 1956 then till 1990. After 1990, how it was evolving. So interestingly, I want to make one point clear here. Though India was not making much progress in artificial intelligence, and foreign countries were continuously working on this artificial intelligence. So we have to admit that we were a little behind in the race, and there are a lot of innovations going on by using artificial intelligence, though the milestones were brought out then and there. We will be looking into what are the breakthroughs that artificial intelligence can show to the entire world little later. So between 1950 and 1970, as I told, the neural network was being used and expert systems were developed and things were going on. And between 1980 and 2010, we started using the term machine learning because artificial intelligence has given birth to the concept of machine learning. So the process of training, the systems were able to acquire some knowledge and they were able to exhibit the potential of problem solving. So this machine learning came into existence. Then at present, we feel that even machine learning concept is not ideally suitable to give the best and optimal solution. So we move our attention towards deep learning where the results could be much better than what we get out of machine learning. And of course, there are a lot of pros and cons about this deep learning as well. But as the problem domain demands, naturally we have to turn our attention towards a deep learning. Next, please. So now the question arises, we the programmers, the computer science faculty, as well as those who use computers for problem solving, and we are able to be very happy, or we can say we are comfortable with the traditional kind of problem solving. So what makes this artificial intelligence superior over the traditional computing? So why do we have to bother about this artificial intelligence? Can't we do away with artificial intelligence? So if you ask the question, can't we do away with artificial intelligence? My answer is a big no, because this artificial intelligence has already invaded into the domain of problem solving through the computational approaches. So we can say that this is one of the fastest growing and cutting edge technologies. So as you get to just, excuse me, as you get to Google on artificial intelligence, we can see your page will be flooded with pages of information on artificial intelligence, because most of the premier industries like Microsoft, Amazon, IBM, all the companies are working in the domain of artificial intelligence to develop a lot of apps, a lot of APIs, and they want to be the forerunner in artificial intelligence. So there is a very promising technology available. So the industry, then the researchers, academicians, and every possible domain which can connect itself to artificial intelligence is thriving hard to harness the potential of artificial intelligence. So then has redefined the art of computation for problem solving. So later I will let you know how it has redefined. And why do we call this artificial intelligence as a typical paradigm shift of problem solving? So then it is capable of handling big data. This is one of the interesting aspects of artificial intelligence. So as we all know, we are living in the era of big data, and we have smart devices, smartphones, and then automated devices like self-driving cars, then automated home appliances, then we have good number of IoT devices. So all these kind of devices are generating a lot of data, attributing to the terminology called big data. So as we have a very big volume of data, we call such data as big data. So this artificial intelligence computational models have got good amount of algorithms which are capable of handling this big data at ease with least effort. So then yet another interesting and heartening aspect of artificial intelligence is that, so once a model is developed, tested, and deployed, so it absolutely needs no human intervention. It becomes 100% and completely automatic. So it doesn't require human intervention. So then AI ideally it is able to give the best possible solutions for interdisciplinary research. So we, the academicians, we, the researchers, looking forward for the latest technological solutions which can give promising results than the previous kind of computational methods. So in such case, because this artificial intelligence happens to be one of the state of the art technologies, so we feel like this is a kind of fancy approach to use artificial intelligence. So now I have to answer probably a question that may be in your mind. So can this artificial intelligence be applied to any kind of problem that we want to solve? So before we decide to apply this artificial intelligence, first of all, we have to have a thorough understanding about what are the domains where this artificial intelligence will be superior than traditional computing techniques. So when it is feasible for a programmer to solve a problem by traditional computing, so let us not bother ourselves with artificial intelligence, because wherever the traditional computing fails, on such occasions we have to use this artificial intelligence. Otherwise, it is meaningless to turn our attentions towards artificial intelligence where it is absolutely not necessary. So it is capable of handling, and it helps us for interdisciplinary problem solving. Next, please. So why this artificial intelligence? Now, the reason is there are certain problems. There are certain real world problems, and as I told you before, which cannot be handled by traditional computing algorithms. So when we talk about the kind of problems to be solved through the computational approaches, we can classify them into the algorithms that we write for problem solving can be classified into two types. One we call as deterministic algorithms, and the other one is called as non-deterministic algorithm, as you rightly guess. So this non-deterministic algorithms, what is the difference between deterministic algorithm and non-deterministic algorithm? So when you write probably a program to find the roots of a quadratic equation, so it is a kind of problem where the process of problem solving or the mechanism of problem solving is quite discrete, and it remains constant all through. So you have a formula, and we have to apply the formula and get the result. So there is no confusion about it. It is not that yesterday I used a formula to find the roots of a quadratic equation. Today is going to be different, and tomorrow it is going to be yet another formula. No. So it remains the same as we talk about solving a quadratic equation and finding its roots. But as we talk about, for instance, spam email that all of us are familiar with, you know what is meant by a spam email? When a mail that enters into your email account is suspicious, or if it is felt that it may be a kind of wrong email from a wrong person, with wrong context, and probably that is not directed into our inbox. Instead, it is getting pushed into the spam folder. So this spam folder is the one which may contain some suspicious mails, which are not supposed to be sent to our inbox. So when a programmer wants to write a very simple program to detect the spam emails. So let us assume we are going to start with traditional computing. So we write a program for the detection of spam email. So when the programmer wants to solve this problem, that is identification of a spam email, probably he will sit down and then try to take down what are the features that will make an email as a spam email. So here he or she has to take down all these points. So the programmer has to incorporate all these things to check whether these features are present in a particular email. So when an email comes in, the metadata of the email is being checked. And if everything is perfect, the mail is sent to our inbox. And if there is something suspicious, it is being sent to the spam folder. So probably out of experience, by gathering the historical data and then by referring to the literature, the programmer might be able to define the framework of defining a spam email, say today, and he or she can write a program for the identification of spam email. But the kind of spam email problem is not static. Probably after a month's time, we have to redefine what is meant by a spam email, because there may be few additional features which qualify an email as a spam email. So now we have to understand, when we developed an algorithm to identify spam email using a traditional computing algorithm, we have written a program. So the program can identify any kind of spam email which matches with the requirements given in the program that is written for the identification of spam email. But now depending upon the new events that occur, depending upon the new kind of features that identify a particular mail as spam email, then those things are to be incorporated into the program, right? Probably spontaneously, without rewriting the program or without modifying the existing program. So if you are going to solve the problem of this identification of spam email by traditional computing, we have to fit the program that we wrote, rewrite it all over again, and try to incorporate the new features that are to be used for the identification of spam email, and then we have to deploy it. So this kind of thing cannot happen again and again, because the definition of spam email is going to get expanded or augmented with more number of features. So in such cases, artificial intelligence becomes so handy because it has the principle of getting experience through training, and because it has the most important feature called learning from the kind of processes that it handles, or the kind of data it handles. It is able to gain knowledge by itself. That is what we mean by making the computer to think on its own like a human being. So now we don't have to write a program explicitly for this kind of spam email identification by using artificial intelligence. So over a period of time, the software that we write for a spam email identification using artificial intelligence will be able to detect the spam emails, like even though we have not defined those kind of features at the time of writing the program. So I just want to make one thing clear at this point. So why do we have to worry about this artificial intelligence? Nowadays, we have plenty of real-time problems which cannot be handled by traditional computing. To quote another example, I think we hear about this financial fraudulence, like ATM fraudulence and many such things. So as we understand about spam email, like suppose if I write a very interesting, very powerful, very strong program for this fraudulence detection regarding the financial fraudulence, and probably a person may come out with a very new idea which was not included in the definition of financial fraudulence. In such cases, unnecessarily we have to go and modify the program, which is not possible. So, in these kind of cases, artificial intelligence is the ultimate solution. So, we cannot think of any other approach other than artificial intelligence. So, that's why, like, we have to understand the importance of artificial intelligence in the current scenario, because, like, we use the internet platform for many kind of activities. Like, we do it for online shopping, then we go for online transaction, then a lot of activities are going on. We are well connected through social networks. So as there are plenty of applications, as artificial intelligence provides promising solutions, so there is a kind of tandem between the problems, real world problems, as well as the available models for solution. So there's a kind of good understanding between them. Next, please. Then take of this artificial intelligence. There are three major technological advancements which really fueled the takeoff of artificial intelligence. So as we have seen how this big data has come into existence, and big data is the most important component that really fueled the development of artificial intelligence, because if we do not have data, if we do not have enough data rather, and we cannot make the machine to understand a particular situation, or else we cannot train a system to understand the scope and the context of a problem. So unless we have good amount of data, we cannot work with artificial intelligence. So big data is a promising component which really helped the development of artificial intelligence. Then secondly, as we discussed about the summer workshop, which was conducted by John McCarthy, and they had a lot of ideas about how to make a system to think like a human being in the light of artificial intelligence. The major setback that they perceived was the computers of that age were not so powerful to do all the activities. But now, thanks to the advancements in the hardware as well as software, and we have got now a good amount of technological advancements, like we have NVIDIA, and we have multi-core processors. So because we are blessed with good amount of computing potential, even in desktops and then laptops, now this artificial intelligence dream has got realized. Then thirdly, as I told, all the leading companies, all the premier institutions are in the best race to come out with good number of artificial intelligence driven computing models, APIs, and they try to develop a good amount of platforms to work on artificial intelligence. So this is a kind of triangularization of these three components. Like at one side we have big data, then on the other two side we have got NVIDIA, then the kind of software which are being developed by the premier institutions, like artificial intelligence algorithms, machine learning models, deep learning models, convolutional neural networks, then APIs. So all these things put together has really fueled the development of artificial intelligence. So now there is no looking back for artificial intelligence. Now it is on the move. Next, please. Next slide, please. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So again, this depicts those three components: the volume of data, the sudden increase in the volume of data attributing to big data, then latest developments in the hardware technologies and software technologies, that is very powerful operating system, for instance, then the kind of models, algorithms, platforms that we have for artificial intelligence. So because of this kind of triangularization, and we are able to provide best results for any given problem, and which is ideally suitable for artificial intelligence. So as we look into this diagram, you can see in the x-axis, it is given the amount of the number of labeled data. Forget about what is meant by labeled data. We'll get into it later when we talk about machine learning algorithms. So when you have large amount of data, then the accuracy is assured of if we have chosen an ideally suitable model for problem solving. So at this point, I want to make one point clear. Suppose if I have a problem in my hand, which cannot be handled by, for instance, traditional computing algorithms. So now arises a question. There is a good collection of algorithms available under artificial intelligence, may it be under machine learning or deep learning or CNN. So is it possible for a programmer to handpick a model and just use it for problem solving? Like, can a programmer randomly select one model and then use it for problem solving? May it be any kind of problem? The answer is a big no, because each and every model has got its own features, which makes it ideally suitable for a particular kind of problem solving. So we do not have a kind of generic machine learning model or a generic deep learning model which can be used for solving any kind of problem. So any programmer must be able to, first of all, try to understand the problem domain and its features, and then on the other side, they should also have good knowledge about what is the purpose of each and every machine learning model, what are the merits, what are the demerits, and what are the setbacks of a particular programming artificial intelligence model. And based upon the understanding on the problem as well as the machine learning algorithm, now the programmer has to strike a balance by selecting the most suitable, appropriate machine learning model or deep learning model. So as we talk about this diagram, so in the x-axis we have got the amount of data. So as the data increases, probably the accuracy has got increased. So we can witness here in the graph. So here on the x-axis you have data, and the y-axis you have the accuracy. So for any programmer, the ultimate aim of programming or problem solving is to get the best accuracy possible, ever best accuracy as possible. So this machine learning models, deep learning models, convolutional neural network models are able to promise accurate results. The accuracy happens to be much higher than the traditional computing outcomes. So this is what this slide explains. Next, please. So there you might have seen different colored curves, and it talks about how a small neural network was used for problem solving, then large neural network, then how we moved on to this artificial intelligence, specifically like machine learning models and many such things, because there's an evolution of algorithms. And so as the algorithms evolved, they were given appropriate names. So very frequently we talk about the terminologies artificial intelligence, then machine learning, deep learning. So there may be a kind of question in our minds, how do we perceive about all these kind of terminologies? And which is the superset, and what are the subsets? So from this diagram, it will be very clear to every one of you. It is like artificial intelligence is like a very big umbrella that encompasses this machine learning, deep learning algorithms or deep learning models. So as we talk about this artificial intelligence, this is a superset, right? So this is a kind of that covers all the kind of models that we talk about, which are capable of solving the problem through this training, experience, and many such things. So from this diagram, we have to understand artificial intelligence, the superset, and deep learning and machine learning are the subset of artificial intelligence. And further from the diagram, we understand deep learning is the subset of machine learning. So later, we are going to have a detailed discussion on machine learning, deep learning. So for time being, let us just keep in our mind. So artificial intelligence is the superset, and the subsets of the superset artificial intelligence are machine learning and deep learning. So deep learning is an outgrowth of machine learning. Next, please. So what makes AI special? I feel we can have a break at this point of time, and then the second part of the presentation can be continued a little later after a small break. So let us come back again to discuss further on what is so special about artificial intelligence. So thanks for your listening. Bye for now.